Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck, and my favorite drink when it comes down to a cocktail in the morning, not that I have cocktails often in the morning, but if I do, it's gonna be on a weekend, and it's gonna be a Bloody Mary. Now, I thought about making this recipe for a really long time, and I was originally going to drop it at Halloween because of the whole like Bloody Mary thing, and then I thought, no, maybe I'll drop it around Mardi Gras because, you know, kind of like the New Orleans thing, but then I said, let me just drop it somewhere in between because it's always time for a Bloody Mary, and it's even more exceptional when we take that fantastic Bloody Mary, whether you have the horseradish, or the celery, or the seafood, or the bacon, however you like it, and then turn it into the most unbelievably simple, spectacular pasta dish. You got that right. So we're gonna take to the Instant Pot, make Bloody Mary pasta. Maybe don't say it 3 times, just say, you know, the Bloody Mary pasta, and it's gonna be zesty, spectacular, and one for the books. Right to the Instant Pot for Bloody Mary pasta. Alright, so the very first thing I want to do is take 2 tablespoons or 1/4 of a stick of salted butter and add it to the Instant Pot. Let's come down to the control panel and give the pot some heat by hitting saute. Make sure we're on the more or high setting. Hit that start button if your model has one. If it doesn't, it'll go onto it on its own after a few seconds. Alright, and once our butter is nice and melted and bubbling, I want to then add in the Holy Trinity, which is typically comprised of onion, celery, and peppers. It's usually green peppers. I think it's usually like a white onion, but I think as long as you have a representation of each of these 3 things, it's like a Holy Trinity. It's a southern thing going on here, and a Bloody Mary is totally a southern drink. So we're gonna add this in there for our veggies. If you want to get more specific, it's about 2 ribs of celery. I used about 2 smallish peppers, well 3, because Richard grew these peppers in his garden and it's super late in the season, but we had them. He picked them himself, so they're going in here. So I use like 3 small peppers, but you can just use 1 or even just 2 large, green or red or whatever color you want. And like a regular red onion, a regular size. And I'm just going to saute these beautiful and vibrant veggies in the pot for about 3 to 5 minutes. Alright, and after about 3 to 5 minutes of our veggies sauteing in the pot, I now want to add in 2 pounds of a smoked or andouille type sausage. I'm using some Conecuh sausage. Do you know Conecuh? If you're from the South, certainly Alabama you do. Richard introduced me to this amazingness. Can't really get it up north, but we always grab some when we go to the South. Costco sells it there, and then freeze it when we get up here, and it's amazing. I'm adding that to the pot. I just sliced it up, and I'm going to saute the sausage with the veggies for another 3 minutes. Alright, and after about another 3 minutes of sauteing the sausage, like I said, we're going to be good to go. Now, since this is a Bloody Mary pasta, for the liquid involved here, we're going to be using nothing other than Bloody Mary mix. I would say go with your favorite brand. I love Zing Zang. Whatever brand you want to go with. Some people love Mr. and Mrs. T, some love Master of Mixes. Whatever you want to go with, make sure it's nice and thin. You don't want it to be super thick. We want it to be thin enough so it'll be able to come to pressure in the pot. I want to add 3 cups of Bloody Mary mix into the Instant Pot here. Flub my lines a little bit. And then from there, I also want to add in the juice of either 1 lemon or 1 lime. Depends how you like your Bloody Mary, with lemon or lime. I went with a lemon. And no vodka required for this Bloody Mary pasta. We're going to keep it a Bloody Virgin Mary pasta. And then I am going to add in my pasta. I am using 1 pound or a box of cavatappi or Celentani. They go by the same name. They look like these little squiggly pigtails. I love using this for mac and cheese as well. We're going to add that to the pot. Now, I don't want to stir. There's already a lot going on in there. I simply want to submerge my pasta by getting my spatula here and pressing it down so it's mostly submerged. It's okay if some of it peaks above the liquid. That's perfectly fine. It will cook. Just make sure you press down on it so it's mostly submerged in the Bloody Mary mix. And it's also not going to be a Bloody Mary without some pearl onions. I'm using about a 14 to 15 ounce bag of frozen pearl onions. Just putting it right on top. They're so frozen. That's all I'm going to do, top it right there. Now the liquid from the onions, when it pressure cooks, are going to also seep through the pasta, helping it cook just as well since some of it's peaked above. And now it's time to pressure cook. I'm going to secure my lid, Make sure that I'm in the sealing position. All right, now that we're ready to pressure cook, hit that cancel button. It's like taking you back to the home screen on your phone. And then we want to hit the pressure cook or manual button for 6 minutes. Adjust with the plus or minus or a knob if your model has one of those. And then again, that's it at high pressure. And then hit the start button if your model has one. Again, if it doesn't, it'll start on its own after a few moments. And now that we're done pressure cooking, we'll perform a quick release. And the pin just dropped, so let's see what we got here. All right, so far lots of pearl onions. So now I want to get in there and I want to give everything a good stir, and oh yes, this is looking perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, the steam heat. Look at how pretty this Bloody Mary pasta is. All right, and now for those finishing touches. Now, this isn't typical of a Bloody Mary, but I like to add some cheese to this. So I'm using 2 cups or an 8-ounce bag of a shredded, like cheddar blend. You don't have to add this if you don't want to, but I'm gonna. And I'm gonna stir this up until it becomes melded into the sauce. Yeah, perfect. Oh, this is gonna be so nice. Next up, to me, it is not a Bloody Mary unless you have some horseradish. I love gold horseradish for this. You can use regular, which this is. You can use the hot kind. You can use the beet kind, which is red. That's fine. Use 1 to 2 tablespoons of horseradish. Again, it's optional if you're not into it. I also like some bacon in my Bloody Marys, really loaded up. So some bacon bits sound good to me, about a 1/4 cup or so. That's fine. You don't have to add them. Optional. And some people also like the Bloody Marys with some shrimp cocktail or like a crab meat or something of that nature. I've been to places where they've had shrimp cocktail, crab cakes, you name it. I'm gonna put some raw shrimp in here that's thawed, that was frozen, and I just simply thawed it through a colander. And the pot is already hot, okay? So the heat of the pasta is going to cook my shrimp. I'm adding a pound of the shrimp. I took the tails off, it's peeled and deveined, and I'm just gonna stir this around and let it rest in the pasta for about 3 to 5 minutes until the shrimp is curled and opaque. That means it's cooked. Again, it's this hot stuff in this pot right now. So it's gonna be perfectly cooked on its own without being overcooked. And you see this after about 2 to 3 minutes of stirring and setting with my shrimp in there, it's gonna be nicely cooked. It's perfectly cooked here. We don't want it to be overcooked, so we're looking perfect as is. I'm gonna serve this up. And yum indeed. Let's get this in that bowl. Plenty of shrimp in there, plenty of sausage, plenty of the celery, all the best parts of a Bloody Mary inside this pasta. And really, look at how gorgeous this is. Look at the pearl onions and the sausage. It's just gorgeous. Look at that. All right, we're ready to serve, guys. We are ready to serve this. If you want, you can absolutely top it with additional horseradish, like I said. You can put some more bacon bits. Maybe I'll do that right now. Sprinkle some bacon bits on there. Give it a nice little final touch. You can absolutely add some hot sauce to this if you think it needs a little bit more. Add some hot sauce. Your favorite kind that you'd add to a Bloody Mary. And this is ready to serve. Let's do it. Okay, and there we go. Bloody Mary pasta, a loaded Bloody Mary pasta, really. Let's do it, I can't wait. Here we go. Oh boy. Oh wow. Richard, you gotta try this Bloody Mary pasta.
I have to wash my hands.
He's gotta wash his bloody hands. The shrimp is a super nice touch. You got your pearl onions. It's got really a nice element of like a sweetness to it. Here, try this. First of all, how pretty is this pasta?
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Isn't that nice? Doesn't it remind you of like the South? Kind of like going out of the Big Easy. Let me know what you think of Bloody Mary pasta.
All right, I want to get a little bite of everything.
Inventive, definitely unique.
Look at shrimp.
The shrimp is perfectly cooked in my opinion. Try that shrimp. Right? You can absolutely add crab meat to this, because like I said, Bloody Marys are really in no bounds. I see them loaded with celery, with horseradish, with bacon, with sausage even, with shrimp, with crab meat, you name it, it's there. And however you like your bloody meat, you do it. This is my bad side. I feel like very awkward talking this way. But that's I'm like, you know, Barbara Streisand, like she only has one good side. That's how I feel right now. And you're probably my good side. So anyway, what are you thinking? You recommend this one?
Yeah, very much. It's like spicy Cajun style.
And it's perfect because
Bloody Mary.
it's certainly not over salty. That's the thing. We don't have to put any other seasonings in this, as you saw, because the Bloody Mary mix takes care of everything. The key to this, like I said, make sure you use a very thin Bloody Mary mix. Don't use one that's overly thick. You want one like Zing Zang, which I love, or a Master of Mixes type of a thing, or the Tabasco brand, or Mr. and Mrs. T. Those are all fine. Just make sure it's kind of thin like a water, okay? Because that's all we're using for the liquid.
When you told me we were making this, I was wondering if it was going to be a thick,
or come to fresher.
too tomatoey salt, you know, too tomatoey.
It's really
But
good.
it's not, it's perfect.
It's really good, and I think that adding the cheese, it doesn't feel like a cheesy pasta. It just kind of ties the whole thing together. You know, like in the Big Lebowski, the rug ties them together, the cheese ties the pasta together. It's not overly so. It's just, it's sent at home, it's gorgeous, it's wonderful, it's a fabulous dish. Bloody Mary pasta, don't say it 3 times in the mirror like the other word from that other movie, you know, the guy who sells candy, don't say that either. But you know, try it out. Look, if Richard from the South here approves, that's all I need. And I got my Kaneka hat here to prove it, that I'm proud of this dish.
What's my Kaneka hat?
Well, if it's on my head, it's mine right now. And then that's my pasta, give it back to me. That's how we're gonna play. I gotta take this one more taste of this. This is delicious. Loaded with flavor. You like step-by-step recipes that are super easy, super time efficient, and have flavors that are gonna take you to the next level? Well, that's a good thing I wrote a bunch of cookbooks. I have my blog, of course, as well, pressurelowcooking.com. Definitely check that out. But every single one of my cookbooks, gorgeous color step-by-step photos for every recipe, as well as a final shot of what every recipe should look like, timing bars, so there's no guessing. I have 3 books currently in print, orange, blue, and yellow. All of them magnificent, and the 4th one, the green one, it's all shortcut recipes. The easiest of all of them, and they're all easy, believe me. This just takes it even easier, and that one comes out in April 2023. Check out facebook.com/pressurelowcooking and give that page a like. Also, make sure you check your see following options, and make sure you're following me, because Facebook likes to revert that every so often without even telling you. Come on, Facebook! And at Pressure Low Cooking and all the other stuff, YouTube, subscribe to me there, all that stuff, Instagram. Thank you so much again for watching. Richard took my bowl, so I have to use this spoon from the pot here. The next time you want to make a dish that's super delicious and not even close to scary, well, grab some pasta because we're gonna have ourselves a Bloody Mary. Enjoy.